Hello everyone and welcome back to Arctic Retro. So I've been doing a lot of Commodore stuff lately and yeah, I'm thinking maybe it's time to do something else. So today I'm gonna take a look at this Atari machine here. So I got this Atari machine as a donation from a viewer and I just want to say thanks a lot for that. So when I open this box, you're in for a surprise as this is one very yellowed Atari ST520. So let's open the box and take a look at it. So the machine came in a box and as you can see the box looks alright, although it's a kind of a boring box, not much fancy there. And it has a serial number here and yeah, just gonna open it and take out the machine. And there you have it, one green yellow Atari 520 ST and it is supposed to be gray. However, this is what the time has been doing to this machine and yeah, we need to rectify that. I think we can at least try and make it look better. With the machine I also got the original quite large and heavy power supply. I briefly tested this machine once and it did power on, so I know it's working at least somewhat. However, I also got this Atari SF354 floppy disk drive. This one I have never tested, I don't know if it's working. I'm not really sure if I have the power supply to it, but at least I have the data cable for it, which is kind of a special cable and yeah, not something you can easily make yourself. Also got an original Atari ST mouse, which has yellowed on one of the two buttons, as you can see. Kind of strange. Yeah, it's a little bit yellowed on the side. The drive and the mouse was donated to me by another donor, which is Robert from Sweden. So this is going to be quite an easy video for me. I mean, I'm not going to do anything particularly advanced. This is just going to be a restoration and exploration video. Hope that's okay with you. And to be honest, I don't know that much about the Atari ST. In fact, I never had one or came across one back in the day. I had an Amiga. I heard about the Atari ST as a competitor, but I don't think I ever saw one. I have made one video once before, a long time ago, about another Atari ST. You can take a look at that if you want. Still, I think it's fun to explore new machines and yeah, see what they can do and see how they perform and that everything works. And to check if I can improve the appearance and the workings of the machines. So that's what I'm gonna do in this video. Okay, first thing first, I'm gonna hook this up and see if it actually starts, and I need a video cable for that. So I got this yeah, Atari ST cable to SCART, and apparently this one works well on some Atari STs, but not all. We'll see about this. And the reason I want to use the floppy drive is because the Atari 520 ST doesn't have a built-in floppy disk drive. So that yellowing is quite strange. I mean, it looks awful in this color, but yeah, hopefully I'm gonna improve on that. Otherwise the machine looks alright. It's yeah, a little bit dirty, but not much. Yeah, and also found the power supply for the floppy disk drive. So all this setup takes quite some space. So I actually took a break from filming, and I put this out in the sun because we had such a nice sunny day. So it's been out in the sun for around 10 hours today, and yeah, I'm not sure if there's any change in the yellowing, but I'm gonna put it out every day from now, as long as there is sun, because that helps with reducing the yellowness. So I'm gonna hook this up to my TV now, but before that, let's take a look at the backside and see what we have here. We have a lot of special connectors. We have a reset switch, power switch, that's the power contact, and yeah, it's kind of the reverse of what you're used to on other machines. You have MIDI out, MIDI in. This one has a built-in RF modulator, so it has television there. This very strange DIN connector, it's, yeah, I don't know, it's like 13 pins for a monitor. This is the one I'm gonna use for connecting to my TV. I have this connector here. And we have a printer and a modem and a floppy disk. And there's a hard disk connector. So I turn the machine around now, but take a look at that floppy disk connector. How many pins is that? And it's a much wider DIN connector than you are used to. I have never seen these kinds of connectors anywhere before. I'm not really sure if it's even possible to find these connectors anywhere now. Maybe it is. So I'm hooking up the floppy drive. Let's see now if we can start this machine. So I think everything's connected. Let's check. Oh yes, we have an image and we have a desktop and the mouse. Oh, I think this mouse is quite poor. I mean, I can move it sideways, but not up and down. Oh yes, and it also turns off the image from time to time. So I actually got a tip about that you actually need to install a resistor into the SCART connector to fix that. I might take a look at that later. But seems to be several issues we need to take care of here. The mouse for one. I hooked up the floppy disk drive as well. Let's check if it will boot from anything. I have Gauntlet 2. Yeah, it's spinning, but nothing much is happening. Gonna try and reset the machine, see if it auto boots from the floppy. Seems like it just spins the motor, but it's not seeking, so yeah, I think this drive is not working, so we need to figure out what's wrong with that. Now it actually presented two desktop icons, floppy disk A and B. But this mouse is not working. I'm gonna try with a different mouse. I have another one. Yeah. Not responding. Okay, let's retry. Disk B is not responding. So I think something's wrong with this drive. It just spins all the time, and yeah, can't seem to read the disk. Let's try another floppy. Oh my god, that was a horrible sound. I'm not gonna stress this drive anymore. I think it needs a little bit of servicing. So yeah, maybe that's the first thing I'm gonna do now, just to check out this drive. And because I need it to run anything on this machine, so without the working drive, then it's not possible to test anything on this. Of course, I could maybe hook up a Gotek drive. I'm not really sure how to hook one up to this machine. But still I won't have a working real floppy. So on the repair bench now, let's open this up. It seems like it has no less than 6 screws under. I got this from Robert, as I said, but he didn't know if it was working or not. He got this himself as part of a large collection, and he haven't had the opportunity to test everything. Then he sent me a bunch of stuff, so that's really nice. So there were a couple of different screws here. Some are like machine screws and some are self-threading. However, a couple of screws refuse to come out. Oh, there's even more screws there. There's even... It's 8 screws totally. Okay, now it's free. So here we have it. It's probably just a regular old PC type floppy disk drive, but it has its own built-in controller here, and yeah, gonna assume the controllers is okay. Just gonna take out this thing and see if we can do anything with it. So how do we get this one out? Use some force. Yeah. Gonna take the plastics and clean it up a little bit. Take off the metal cover. So there we have it. Yeah, kind of dirty, and it has a lot of stuff and hairs in the mechanism. Okay, so it's a Chinon. It's a F353AT and it's made in Japan. So I'm just gonna hook it up now and see what it does when I have taken it out of the case. And obviously if I am gonna hook up a Gotek drive, I'm gonna connect it to this controller, of course. And yeah, I might do that as a test later, we'll see. Just gonna hook it up now and observe the inner workings. I just noticed. You probably noticed already. Yes, there's a belt, and that's the remainders of the belt, and it is of course disintegrated. So no point in hooking this up, it won't work anyway. So I need to find a belt. I think I have one belt for another drive. Maybe it's gonna fit. So just gonna clean off that rubber residue on this drive here. So I found a belt for another drive, but if it's the same size, I'm not sure. Seems to be. Yeah, it's not very tight, but this might work. Yeah, that looks good, I think. I just had to place it on the side so that the motor underneath doesn't rub against the table. Okay, so it is actually, it is moving back and forth, clicking like on the Amiga. Oh, let's insert the floppy now. Yeah, it's seeking. And the disk is spinning, but I can't find anything. Okay, now I got something here. Actually, it just took a while, but now it actually found the files for something. And it just keeps cutting the video. So I'm just gonna reset the machine and see if it boots from the floppy now. Yes, look at that. Boot sector, the Guardian boot sector. So no viruses, that's good. However, it did boot from it, so yeah. But it says it's not responding, and after a couple of retries, it shows up anyway. If I press cancel, then it shows up. Okay, so it seems this drive needs a little bit more attention. Just gonna clean off this drive screw here. What's it called? The stepper motor axle. It's quite dirty, full of old grease. Just gonna clean off the head a little bit. Not that it looks dirty, but yeah, just in case. Also cleaning these metal rods that the head is moving along. No, everything seems to move smoothly now. Then a little silicone grease. This is spray. It's hard to just get a little amount out of this spray bottle, but a little bit down there. Well, let's test again. So it seems to be spinning all right. Hey, I got something. I just switched to another floppy, and yeah, this is a Gauntlet 2 floppy, and now it actually booted straight away. So yeah, it might be a combination of a little bit misaligned floppy drive and or bad floppy disks. So there is life. However, it couldn't actually load the game, so it just showed this and then crashed. This is actually the Last Ninja 2, and that too loaded, at least to the title screen, as you can see. So the floppy drive head is happily moving. Cool. Yeah, this loaded just fine. I haven't hooked up a joystick, just gonna do that sometime later, not now. Okay, I'll say this floppy drive is working, but some of the disks are perhaps a little bit bad. So the drive seems to work, at least partially, so I'm just gonna assemble it again. Just gonna do a little bit of cleanup here and there before I put this back in its shell. Also cleaning up these contacts with some contact cleaner. And this metal shield looks alright, no rust. So it's been one more day, and I actually had this machine out in the sun for another like 10 hours, and don't know if you can see the difference, but I think it's quite less yellowed now. The next step now is to open up this machine and do a little bit of inspection inside and clean it up. I'm gonna see if the keyboard needs some cleaning, and yeah, otherwise take a look and see what's due to be done on this machine. So it has this ugly tape on the back. Oh my god. The glue is not giving away easily, so that needs to be cleaned away. So let's open it up. Alright, I see a lot of dust bunnies, or hybelkanins as we say in Norway. So this keyboard definitely needs a good cleaning, and yeah, some other stuff here as well. Here, yuck. And on this metal shield we have ourselves a little rust. Yeah, several places here. Let's see now, how do we remove the keyboard? Okay, just lift straight up, and regular pin header type connector like the C64. It has this massive shield, and we're gonna remove it, and it has a lot of screws for that, and it's also twisted tabs here. So the tabs secures just the shield, and the screws secures the motherboard to the case, but it even has a couple of hidden screws. 1, 2, 3. So now we should be able to lift this up. A little bit more wiggling and it's free. So there's even more tabs on this side. I have released them. There's one down here, one there. So I think now it's free. Yeah, and that reveals the motherboard, and a little bit more rust on the inside. I need to take care of that. So I'm gonna take off the back shield here as well. The motherboard is full of dust and schmutz. Okay, I'm gonna do a little swab test here just to see how dirty the surface of the motherboard is. And yes, it's quite dirty. A little bit of rust on this contact here. Need to take care of that. Otherwise, the board looks to be in good shape. It has a few electrolyte capacitors, but they all look fine. So that's the Motorola 68000 CPU, and yeah, here's the 16 RAM chips. This has 512 kilobytes of RAM. I don't think I'm gonna replace the caps. They look fine, and yeah, it's not always that I see a need for replacing caps. Sometimes I do it just for future proofing. However, now I'm gonna take this board down to the garage and use the air compressor there to blow it free of its dust. And also I'm gonna start cleaning up the plastics and disassembling the keyboard so that I can clean it up. The keyboard, I just vacuumed it, and yeah, it looks better, but it's still quite dirty, and I want to clean up all the keycaps, so I'm gonna take them off. Not really sure how this mechanism is working. Oh yeah, that's a little bit special mechanism, but quite easy one, no springs. So yeah, just gonna use my keyboard puller here and lift off all the keys. Only the spacebar and the enter key has this metal support, and you need to be a little bit more careful when you remove those keys so that you don't rip out the fastenings for that metal bar. But this was quite stuck. Okay, so now it's free, and just pull that straight out there. Yeah, and there's even more dust bunnies here, so I think I'm gonna vacuum this once more, and then I'm gonna clean the keys in some soapy water. Keycaps has been cleaned and dried, and I thought I'll do some retrowriting on those separately because it's harder to get them evenly retrowrited just by putting them outside. So I'm gonna use a little bit of hydrogen peroxide on those. And there's no sun today, so I thought I'll just speed it up a little bit. I use this hair bleaching cream, which has 12% hydrogen peroxide, H2O2. Just fill a good amount into this bag. Then I just massage it around. This is not a cooking video, but I'm gonna use my oven. I set it to 50 degrees Celsius, and then I'll place this bag inside the oven. The heat will speed up the process in my experience, so 2-3 hours in the oven, and this should be good. And I'll regularly go in and turn them around so that I distribute the cream really good. Alright, now I'm gonna take care of these rust stains, and I thought I'd just use this little tool and file it away with this brass brush, or what it is. You can of course use a little steel brush, a manual one, or a little bit of sandpaper. Then I just use a little bit of a metallic spray paint that I have sprayed on this post-it note, and just cover those stains a little bit. I also consider just adding a little bit of WD-40 on those stains, but maybe this is gonna protect it a little bit better. So I blew away all the dust, and now this board looks alright. Just gonna do some light cleaning here and there with some alcohol and cotton swabs. Finally, all the contacts. I just noticed that this one is a little bit bent. Just the casing around, it's pushed in. Alright, everything looks very nice and clean now, and I'm pretty pleased with that. So this is how far I'm gonna take it in this video with regards of the cleaning. And now let's see if we can assemble this machine and take it for a little bit of exploration. So the keycaps came out really nice. I mean, they're not perfect. I can still see a slight hint of yellowing, but I think this is fair enough. So I'm just gonna assemble this keyboard now. keyboard is complete and it looks great, I think. For the most part, all cream white. Compare it to this. This is another Atari 520 ST. Now assemble the rest of the machine. Okay, look at that. The machine looks great. All cleaned up. Still a bit yellowed. It needs more hours in the sun. Unfortunately, it's not sun here today. So yeah, I'll put it out whenever I can. And hopefully we will see an improvement by the end of this video. Now I thought I'll take a look at this mouse that didn't work very well. It just worked in one direction, and yeah, maybe it just needs a little bit of cleaning. At least I'm gonna try and clean it up first, and then we'll see if there's any electrical problems with it. Yeah, there's couple of screws that holds it to the plastic. Yeah, those rollers seems to be very dirty, full of yeah, grime. Maybe they're corroded as well. Here you can see it. Yeah, just gonna scrape off all that dirt and see if it improves. Yeah, that's a thick layer of shit on that. And the other wheels as well. Use a little alcohol here. I'm just turning the wheel around because it has this wheel here. That's the IR device. So it's actually better to clean it from the other side, because then I can turn around the wheels same time I'm cleaning. You could of course pull this out and clean them real good, but I think this is enough. Yeah, I think that's enough. I'm going to take the plastic and clean it in some soapy water, the ball too. Alrighty then, it's cleaned up. Let's assemble this mouse and test it. Alright, I hooked up the machine and yeah, it is working as you can see. However, this mouse, it's not working. I mean, the vertical direction is not working. I had it working for a while, but now it suddenly stopped. So you can only see a little piece of the mouse cursor down there. So since it was working a little while, I'm thinking maybe this contact is a little bit bad. Gonna clean it up with some deoxit. It might be worn out, you never know. However, if I can't get this mouse to work, now with this I'm gonna skip it. I have a couple of other I can use. Just gonna let that soak for a couple of minutes. Alright, so I cleaned it up and I also took out the bracket that holds this spinning wheel. This one is the one that gives a signal for the mouse movement. There's a couple of infrared diodes, I think, down here, and when they shine through these holes, then there's that triggers a signal for movement, and actually now it starts moving. So I'm thinking maybe there's some dirt or something on those diodes. So it actually seems to work fine without this bracket, and this bracket has two holes, and yeah, when I put this in, it stops working, so it seems like it can't shine through these holes. I actually try and make them a little bit bigger. Yeah, no, I think those holes are a lot larger. Well, let's see now. Oh yes, now it's working. Yeah, nice. So somehow the holes in the bracket was getting blocked, maybe dirt, so now that they are open, this works fine. Yes, now it's working perfectly. Well, buttons are poor. You have to press really hard, but at least it's working. So in order to fix that, I need to replace those buttons. I don't have any spares right now. Actually, I realized I haven't tested the keyboard yet. I don't know if there's some place you can type in here. No. Okay, enter works at least. Alright, it's time to start testing this machine a little bit, and I haven't got the diagnostics cartridge or anything like that. I tried to find some diagnostics program I could run from disk, but I couldn't find anything. I know there is an Atari original diagnostics cartridge that you can make as new with EEPROMs. I might try and get one of those sometime later. I also downloaded a bunch of software for this machine, and what I'm thinking now is to actually use a Gotek drive, a Gotek floppy disk emulator instead of this external one, and see if we can run some games or other programs on this. Now, to be able to hook up a Gotek floppy emulator on this machine, I actually have to open this external drive again, and yeah, because I need the controller inside it, because the machine doesn't have any built-in floppy drive controller. So yeah, so that's the controller, and now it's just a matter of hooking this up the correct way. Probably that way then. Yeah, the Gotek is hooked up the correct way, otherwise it will show an error message here. Okay, so now I'm just gonna copy over some of the floppy disk images I have downloaded to this memory stick. By the way, to avoid that annoying flickering, I'm just gonna switch over to RF. Not that good picture, but yeah, fair enough. There you go. Yeah, and that worked straight away. I just loaded Crazy Cars 2 from the Gotek drive. Problem is that this external floppy disk drive, which this controller comes from, it's just a 360K floppy disk drive and single-sided, so that means that it will only support 360K images, single-sided images on the Gotek as well, so it's a little bit limited what kind of software you can find and run through this. Yeah, hopefully I found something that can work. We'll see. Yeah, at least it starts. Yes, so it's correctly hooked up. All right, a game. Arkanoid. Good old classic from the Commodore 64 time. Used to play that a lot. Oh, that was some poor music. Not very nice quality. So I'm not gonna do a lot of game playing in this video, and just want to test that the machine is working. I tried to find some diagnostics software. Only thing I found was the sysinfo program. However, I couldn't find that on an image that can run on this machine, so won't be able to test that. I know there are diagnostics cartridges made for these machines. I have actually ordered one. I found one on eBay. I also hooked up a joystick, so let's try. Okay, that didn't work. Yeah, you have to use the mouse. Oops. A little bit rusty. When do I get any power-ups? Yeah, there's one. Okay, nice. Oops. Oh. So that was fun. Now I'm gonna see if I can find something else. So I found out that if you have a disk image, a so-called ST file that is too big for this drive, it will actually try and boot from it, but it won't succeed, and it will go into the desktop, and you can actually open the floppy, but it will fail. So yeah, you see here, I press cancel and it actually shows the directory. On some images it actually will show files, but it won't be able to run them. Okay. Some kind of demo. Nope, that wouldn't start. Okay, Mad Vision, and nothing else happens. That was in the bootloader of that floppy, but not possible to continue. So I guess these are disks that won't work on this machine. So if you have any comments to this and how to find software for the 520 ST, please give me a hint in the comments. Or if you have any other suggestions. Alright, this loaded 4 bombs. But then nothing more. Kind of frustrating. What's this then? Magic Bytes. Tom and Jerry. Well, look at that. That actually loaded. Okay. Sorry, you lost 30 seconds. So what am I supposed to do? Maybe I'm gonna find some cheese or something. Avoid being caught by Tom. Yeah, I got the cheese. Okay, I can throw things. Alright, that's enough with the Tom and Jerry. And this was supposed to be Turrican. However, it just booted into this screen and then nothing else happened. Okay, well, now. Oh, seems to be loading just a bunch of garbage onto the screen. So I removed the Gotek drive and I put back the original floppy disk drive, and I actually found some other floppy disks that actually works on this floppy disk drive, and that was actually the problem from the start, that some of the first disk I tried wasn't 360K formatted disks. So here I have some Atari 520 specific floppy disks, and I have now loaded the first basic. And this shows that we have more work to do on this machine, because keyboard isn't working at all. I mean, some keys register completely wrong values. I don't know what happened here. Did I insert it the wrong way or something? So I need to open up the machine and check that out. So let's see now what could have happened here. I mean, it might be that the keyboard is in fact broken. Is it possible that I inserted the contact the wrong way? Or it's not properly in? Nope, there's one pin there that's blocked, so it's not possible to insert it the wrong direction. I'm gonna use a little bit of contact cleaner on this contact. See if that helps. So, look at that. That fixed it. Yes. So, I think maybe the contact wasn't properly in. Yeah. But now that's taken care of. Let's write a little program. Not really sure how you run. I guess you need to use the menu to run. Program, run, yeah. Yeah, okay, nice. Okay, I was actually fearing that this keyboard was damaged. Anyway, that reassured me that this machine is working properly and that the floppy disk drive is actually working 100%. So, yeah. Only thing that's annoying was that the video cable isn't working properly, and I did a little bit of research and it turns out that if you got this problem with flashing like this, it's because the SCART contact isn't connected correctly, and some TVs might have problems seeing that signal and think it's a lost signal. There should be a wire connected from the computer to pin 16 on the SCART contact. I'm just going to open that contact and check now if it actually has anything on pin 16. So I think I bought this cable on eBay a long time ago. Yeah, it did work on my previous TV with another Atari ST, but obviously not on my modern new TV. Thing is, it uses RGB if the TV supports it, and yeah, maybe that's the issue here. Oh no, it's full of glue, so we're not able to figure that out. It's impossible to remove that glue without destroying this cable. Alright, so I just leave it with that. Instead, I'm gonna try and find a proper cable on the internet. So I'm back here from the future. In fact, it's been some days since I finished up this video. And I have continued putting the machine out in the sun. Still not completely finished. I think it needs some more hours, but as you can see, the change is very dramatic if we compare it to how it looked when I started. As you can see, there's big improvement, and this is only using sun, and it hasn't been particularly warm either, so we had like between 12 and 15 degrees Celsius outside while I had the machine out. So I also had the floppy disk drive outside, and it also improved a lot on the actual case. However, the eject button is still a bit yellowed, strangely enough. Alright, I think that's enough fiddling around with this Atari ST. Great machine, and yeah, fun machine. I don't know too much about the Atari ST, as I said, but fun nevertheless, and still something to learn about these old retro computers. Alright, hope you enjoyed this video, and I just want to say thanks for watching, and a special thanks to my patrons. Now I'm gonna play a little Last Ninja on this machine.